The MCU has been talked to death, but I've never seen anyone talk about this. Welcome to the universe. This is Mac, and today I'll be discussing why Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder are basically the same. Nothing but spoilers ahead. If you want to go watch these two movies, go ahead and come back. If you don't, I completely understand why. Getting right into it, I would first like to mention that the runtimes of these movies are only 7 minutes apart. Now let's get into the big stuff. Let's look at the title character. Each one of them is a male, well-established character in the MCU, but they're not who the movie is actually about. Now let's look at the real main characters. Wanda and Jane Foster are both female, well-established characters in the MCU. Both women are currently dealing with negative situations. For Wanda, it's the loss of her created family, and for Jane, it is stage 4 cancer. And one stark difference between these two characters, Wanda is the villain of her movie. But even when you look at the villains separately, you still see the similarities. Both Wanda and Gore lost their entire families. Both are corrupted by ancient dark things. For Wanda, of course, this is the Darkhold, and for Gore, it is the Necrosword. Both Wanda and Gore are after MacGuffins that could help them achieve their ultimate goals. For Wanda, this is the Book of Ashanti, and for Gore, this is Eternity. And looking quickly into the MacGuffins themselves, both are things that have never been discussed in the MCU before their respective movies. And they are both things that could have easily helped out in prior movies, but they weren't. Both villains are prevented from achieving their ultimate goals through the intervention of a female God-powered child. For Gore, this is his daughter returned to life with God powers. For Wanda, this is God-powered America Chavez, who we met at the beginning of the movie. We also met Gore's daughter at the beginning of the movie. Both villains also die at the end. Gore dies because he's no longer connected to the Necrosword. Wanda sacrifices herself to destroy the Darkhold inscription on Wundagore Mountain. This also means both female main MCU characters die, as Jane sacrifices herself in order to defeat Gore. But there is also a hint in both movies that neither female character actually died. For Wanda, it's a red glow while Wundagore Mountain is collapsing. And for Jane, we see her about to enter Valhalla. Editing Mac here, I realize Jane entering Valhalla means that she is dead, but she can always come back from Valhalla as a Valkyrie, like she did in the comics. For further similarities, we have the one cool scene for Multiverse of Madness. This was the magic fight between the two Doctor Stranges. And for Thor Love and Thunder, we have the black and white fight against Gore. Both movies hyped themselves up using big names. Obviously, there was the directors, Sam Raimi, Taika Waititi, who had previous Marvel-related successes under their belts. Of course, we know there was the entire Illuminati in Multiverse of Madness. And then we had the Guardians of the Galaxy in Thor. And yes, I still believe it could be called a cameo by the Guardians because they were in the film for such a short time. Then, of course, in Thor 4, we also had Zeus, played by Russell Crowe, which I felt was kind of embarrassing in the end. Just like how they brought Professor X back just to die again, except in a way worse way. For both movies, Marvel did one of the most Marvel things and introduced new major characters in post-credit scenes. For Multiverse of Madness, this was Clea. And then we had Hercules in Love and Thunder. Lastly, we have the worst thing that both movies did. Neither movie lived up to their potential. In Multiverse of Madness, there was barely any multiversing. In Thor Love and Thunder, there was barely any god butchering. Why make a movie about something that's barely about the thing that you're trying to make it? Like, you have the money, you have the resources. These movies should have been a lot more than they were. Obviously, I understand that there are plenty of differences. I'm not saying there aren't. It was just alarmingly obvious to me the first time I watched Love and Thunder that it was following very similar beats to Multiverse of Madness. Is this the new Marvel formula? Who knows? I definitely see how this new type of formula could be applied to some upcoming Marvel projects. And I just wonder why? Why not be more original? At least if they were going to make two movies with such similar story beats, they could have done it further apart so it wasn't as obvious. I don't know. I'm not a professional. I just bitch about stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to join the universe. Happy October!